Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Grumpy Old Man and a Dodge Charger. I haven't made a video in a little while, haven't really had a whole lot to rant about, but I was watching a YouTube video earlier. I get a kick out of watching these sovereign citizen videos. They always make me laugh. And they're kind of car related, or at least what I'm about to discuss is car related. So I thought that I'd make a little, my little opinion piece about the whole thing. I will be talking about laws, so before you start, well, what makes you an expert on the law? I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but this here, Law Society of Upper Canada law license. So I know what I'm talking about, or at least I have a clue what I'm talking about, okay? That's my private investigator's license. That's my law license. So I do practice law. And the basically what I want to talk about with these sovereign citizen idiots is that I shouldn't say you because they're not going to be watching this. They do have the right to travel. They always say that. Well, I don't need a driver's license. I don't need valid registration. I don't need insurance on my car because I am a free inhabitant and I have the right to travel. Absolutely you do. You have the right to travel every highway and byway and roadway and crosswalk that you possibly could come across. You can travel from New York City to San Francisco if you want to. Go right ahead. But you cannot do it in a car. And I think that that's where people make the mistake. They think that the word travel applies to driving, and it doesn't. Okay, and here's why. Driving is a privilege and not a right. Nowhere in the American Constitution, nowhere in the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms does it say anything about having the right to drive. The Canadian Human Rights Commission, the Ontario Human Rights Commission, nowhere does it say anything about a right to drive a car. That's why it is monitored by the DMV or the Ministry of Transport or whoever. So no, you don't have the right to drive. You have the right to travel. Take the Heel-Toe Express. You can hop in a Greyhound as long as you pay for the ticket. You can take a train, take a plane, take a stagecoach. Who cares? However you get where you're going. But you cannot drive a car legally if it's not registered, if you're not licensed, and if it's not insured. Those are laws. Okay, you can say, well, your statutes, they don't supersede the Constitution and my rights and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it does actually, okay? So that's all I'm going to say about this. You have the right to travel. You do not have the right to drive. It is a privilege. It is monitored. It is legally bound in the Highway Traffic Act in Ontario and Canada. In the States, whatever their laws are, I don't know if it's federal or by state or whatever, but it doesn't really matter, okay? In Canada, there are 3 times where you are legally obligated to provide identification and identify yourself. When you are prowling at night, when you are under arrest, and when you are operating a motor vehicle. You are legally obligated to show your driver's license whenever you are operating a vehicle, all right? And it doesn't just mean commercial vehicle, it means passenger vehicle as well. If you are driving a car or a motorcycle or a truck or whatever, if you get stopped by a police officer, you have the legal obligation to provide your driver's license. And if you don't have a driver's license and you're not a valid driver, you can get arrested. Your vehicle will be towed and impounded. It's that simple, okay? It's a huge offense. So why these sovereign idiots think that they can just hop in a car that's not registered and not licensed and doesn't have insurance and drive wherever they want? I don't know, just idiocy at its best. Now, kind of spiraling off of that, I want to talk about something else, because I showed you that I have a private investigator's license. I've been a licensed private investigator for almost 30 years, and here's something else I can tell you. If you are out in public, okay, you do not have an expectation of privacy. Now that is, I'm going to put in quotes, expectation of privacy, which means that if you are anywhere out in a public space, anybody can videotape you, all right? Anybody, anywhere can pull out their cell phones. They can pull out a big, giant View 8 video camera, whatever they've got, and they can videotape you in public where you do not have an expectation of privacy. Now, here's the thing. I see these idiots on YouTube that are in Walgreens or Walmart or McDonald's or wherever, and they're videotaping, and the employee says, "Put your camera away, you can't video in here." And the idiot responds with, "Wow, this is a public place, I can video wherever I want." No, you can't, all right? A private business is not a public space. If you are in a Walmart, legally, they have the right to tell you to stop filming. You do not have the right to film in a Walmart. It is under their jurisdiction. It's their regulations that they can tell you, do not video, because it's a privately owned business, and you do not have the right to film in there if they tell you to stop. And if you don't stop, you can actually be held accountable for that. Probably get a ticket or something stupid, or even just kicked out and barred, whatever. You're not going to jail, that's for sure. But nonetheless, a private business is not a public space. The public can congregate there. You can go to the mall, but the mall is not a public space. Public space is essentially anything that is government owned. So parks, the sidewalks, whatever. But that's how far it goes. If it's not a government owned land, if it's a privately owned business, you do not have the right to film. So if somebody says, "Stop filming me," you cannot say, "Well, this is public property, I'm allowed to film." No, you're not, okay? Anywhere where there is no expectation of privacy, anywhere that is in plain sight, you can video. But if you're on private property and someone tells you to stop taping, legally, you have to stop taping, all right? I know that none of the idiots that do the things that I've just described are going to watch this and go, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know." Same way how putting warning labels on cigarettes. It's not like some guy, as Dennis Leary said, I don't want to steal his bit, someone's not going to pull up a pack of cigarettes and go, "Holy crap, these things are bad for you, I had no idea." So sovereign citizens are still going to be the idiots that think that they can drive a car illegally, the jackasses that go, "World Star, World Star." Just once I'd like to watch a video where some black chick is kicking the shit out of somebody without hearing 10 guys in the background going, "World Star, World Star." Pain in my ass. Anyway, so that's pretty much it. That's my video rant for the day. Don't drive cars illegally. Don't videotape on private property and respond with, "But it's public property, I'm allowed to video." No, you're not. Anyway, that's it for me. Be excellent to each other. Stay off my lawn.